Hey, what's up, Run Try Bike community? Welcome to episode 13. Is it lucky number 13
Oh
of
yeah.
What's in Your Earbuds? I can't believe we're in double digits now. I feel like I say that all the time with all of our podcast shows. Before we jump into the show, and before we even do the housekeeping, this is my first time, in the green room. Just 15, 20 minutes ago is my first time catching up with Joe on video since like maybe like last year if we're going to make last year jokes. So, Joe, my brother, how are you doing?
Oh man, wonderful. Yeah, it's wild heading into 2025, nice and strong. I'm really excited to be back. It's cool to get to chat with you. Like I said, it's last time we talked was last year, so I'm really stoked.
I'm so pumped for this, and I'm excited to bring what's in your earbuds strong into 2025. This conversation is just going to be the two of us, but we have some amazing guests and guest ideas lined up. Some guests that we want to bring back, obviously, and we were just chatting about some amazing ideas, and we can't wait to bring these ideas to you to the table. And what is even more exciting to me, Joe, is that even while we were gone, there are people from your side putting in new song submissions into this playlist. A goal, if you remember, that we set for our playlist before we left was, I think, hitting 15 hours, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah, 15 hours, and we are up to. This is a long playlist. 7 hours and 14 minutes now, and we have 26 saves. Yeah, even since we've been on this break, we had some good song suggestions. My man Eric Davis, Eggs All Runny on Instagram. He
I love
he
that name.
he just moved to the Czech Republic. He's out there running in the mountains. He's adding cool songs to the playlist from the Water Boys. So thank you, Eric, for that. Keep them coming, man.
Man, that is incredible. And I can't wait to listen to. I have a lot of homework to do with some of the songs that are being submitted. We've obviously gotten some great ones that we recapped on. If you haven't watched the last episode, check it out. Uh, so, before we jump into the nitty gritty of the show, some housekeeping. Friends of the pod, for everybody who enjoys these shows with these everyday stories, there's something for everyone on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. You can find us everywhere you find your podcast. There are shows that are 15 minutes long or 10 minutes long that are bite sized portions for those short commutes. And there are shows that are 1 hour long for those longer commutes, those workouts. We have everything from shows about food, like Food Fat Friday at the aid station. We have What's in Your Earbuds with me and my man Joe down here. We also have Joe's other show, Beyond the Finish Line, of which he has interviewed some amazing people, including Scotty Coomer and Meg Eggert recently. And we also have our flagship show, the Fireside Chat. Recently, we also added Melanin MVP. If you guys haven't caught it, with Angela Hollowell, Melanin MVP just put out its first episode distributed on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network this morning, actually. So go check it out. It's only 15 minutes, and it's an amazing story among many other amazing stories that are coming from the female Black athletes and BIPOC athletes communities. So we're very excited to have Angela Hollowell on board as our second female host, and we've now expanded the network to 9 shows, and I'm very excited about that. It's such an amazing feeling, and we have so many great things to come.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, that's so exciting how it's growing. It's amazing.
And one last thing I want to add before we jump into the show is, if you want to know more about our founder and the reason that Run Try Bike exists and we're sitting in this room today, there is a live show for Enduring Minds episode 3 coming out on Wednesday. And this time we'll be focusing on Jason's story. Evan and I have some hard hitting questions for him. And some of them are probably going to catch him by surprise, but he's an open book. He's ready to be naked in town square, metaphorically, might I add. It's our saying for being emotionally vulnerable, as Joe is also experienced with being. So
Yeah.
um, we're excited to bring Jason on. we're excited to be on the other side of the table for Enduring Minds, which is our men's mental health podcast. Uh, so, without further ado, we are going to jump into the show. This is kind of just a start of 2025. I think that the best place to start is how we started this show to begin with, and that is to ask what's been in your earbuds recently, Joe.
Oh man, so I don't know what made me think about the last time I ran into the wild, but I was like, wow, I haven't read that book in a while. So I was like, well, I kind of want to watch the movie, but so whatever. I didn't do any of those things. So I started re-listening to Into the Wild soundtrack, which is completely written and done by it. I can't think right now. Uh, Eddie Vedder. I don't know how I forgot that. Pearl Jam's one of my favorite bands. So I've been doing like a deep dive into some Eddie Vedder music. Mostly, I basically just like listened to that soundtrack on repeat for the last 2 weeks, and it's been hitting really good. And it's been snowy and gray, so I've been really jamming to some like jam band stuff. Like I would love OAR during this time of the year because it's like it'll be 7 degrees while I'm running, but if I put on some OAR, it transcends me to a 70-degree sunshiny day. So I've basically just been re-listening to this OAR live album called Here and Now and Into the Wild soundtrack by Eddie Vedder, like for about 2 weeks solid. That's just been on constant rotation right now.
It's so great when you're able to find like something to latch onto for like a couple, like more than one listen at a time. I'm definitely the person, if I get hooked onto a song for a specific feeling or specific moment, I can stay on that song and listen to it for 6 hours if we're referencing like an old challenge that we gave to Jason. So I'm definitely that guy. Do you feel like, and I think you sort of answered this question, do you feel like music can transport you to a new location, help with your mentality? Like if it is freezing cold out there, like you mentioned, like I do believe that like if you're listening to a song that's about like fire and like heating up or a certain genre, like it can really warm you up. Like I almost wonder how much of that do you think is placebo and how much of that do you think is your mind reacting to like the song and like actually like trying to heat you up, you know? Like I've always been fascinated by that.
I bet there's got to be something to that, right? Because I mean, outside of the like, I'll listen to Bob Marley a lot while I'm running in the wintertime too, and I think it just kind of it can almost like put you in a different place, whether that's placebo or there's something that I don't quite understand that it's doing. Like, it's definitely transporting you. If it's placebo, then it's awesome because it works. But so yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should ask some experts what that does. I bet it does, right? Because I mean, music can take you places, whether it be like a time frame, or like a mindset, or I guess a climate. I guess is something else it can do according to what my experience is. But
I have to agree with that. There's a Angra song from their album Into the Shadows, which is one of my favorite concept albums ever. They're like a symphonic metal. So it's like if you're into the power metal genre, which very much is derivative of the 80s metal genre where it's like it's heavy music, it's fast music, but it's like but the singer's melodic and has a high octave and it's not like screamo, more so it's more like melodic, like symphonic, like vocals. And I like Angra because it's very much like
Angra.
symphony music and classical music mixed in with metal, which is really,
Ooh.
they're a Brazilian metal band, power metal band.
Oh.
um, they're so
All right.
cool. So Into the
Angra.
Shadows is my favorite Angra album, and it's the entire, it's a concept album, so it tells the story of a crusader, how he falls in love, how he goes into battle, how he goes through an existential journey, uh, and it's just so damn cool. But there's a long wind around. There's a song in there uh, that starts with like drums and like you hear like monkeys and like it sounds like you're in the
Oh.
forest, and that song always transports me. It's called Sprout of Time or whatever, and that's
Oh.
like speaking to your speaking to what you were talking about. There's songs that like transport you to that kind of environment. What was that song, the immigrant song does that to me all the time from Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
because it's like, what is it, like Land of Ice and Snow or something like that? And like every
Yeah.
time I hear that, ah, like it just transports me to like in my mind like Iceland or something like that.
Yeah, like, what's that, like, the song Black Dog is just so good too, but
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that, like, kinda transporting you somewhere too, just because of those lyrics, but or, or, like, something, like, I don't or, like, listen to Sublime or something,
Ooh,
it
yeah.
almost just puts you on a beach and, like I think they're from Orange County, right, or Mendocino County. It almost, like, puts you on the beach in that, like, Long Beach is where they're from, I believe. It almost, like, puts you on the beach. It's like, you almost can't help but, like, kinda feel a little sand in your toes or something when you're listening to Sub it doesn't matter where you are when you're listening to Sublime or, like, some, like, cool reggae or something.
I have to agree that Sublime can really put you on the beach, and that actually poses something else I wanted to ask you. I don't know if how much of this is like you like the artist having the vision that transcends like or like goes to like the entire audience, but like NF for example, I don't know if you've seen some of NF's music videos like for the search and some of his songs, but in the search, he's like in this desolate wasteland and there's a shopping cart and there's like black balloons, like he references balloons as like the weight that you're carrying.
Ooh.
And he's like just standing out in the middle of nowhere like and he comes into the video he's like just walking the shopping cart and there's like black balloons and everything and I'm like it's nuts because even before I watched that video I imagined he was in kind of a desolate wasteland like in a gray area or whatever and I imagined the balloons and I wonder like how much of that or how cool is it like when an artist knows their song so well and maybe some of it is like you kind of like understanding his vision more, like your vision matching his. Like, how cool is it when you see a music video or something and you're like, this is exactly how I pictured it?
Yeah. Um, it's funny that you say that because not that I'm not a Billie Eilish fan, but it's not something I really get into. But I wish I could remember what Billie Eilish song it was that I heard, and then I saw the music video. Oh dang it! I might have to get back with everybody on this one. But I was just like, wow, that's exactly the way I could have envisioned. It's like it's like this house is like filling up with water or something, and she's like trying not to drown, maybe. But I'll have to get back on that one, but it's like I could almost see that being the video. That's like so cool how they captured it. I don't know if that's like playing or if it's just I don't know. It's just like music can kind of take you somewhere. It's just cool, and they kind of meet you where you thought the song would kind of look like. I guess, like you said with the NF video. I don't know if that
Yeah.
made any sense, but wow, I could see like that's exactly how I saw like the music video like representing the song. I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a question we need to pose to our viewers too. There are a lot of questions we have, but I would love to hear about like I would love to ask our viewers. Maybe we need to refine the question. I would love to ask our viewers like where to name a song that transports them to a certain place. Like
Yeah.
ooh, I just thought of one that
Perfect.
one that is so great, right? Like "Island in the Sun" by Weezer.
Oh
Doesn't that
man,
song transports you to an island in the sun?
it does. Yeah, I immediately feel warmer when I hear that song. Yeah, that's a perfect man. So that's a good one. We
Yeah,
stumbled onto that subject. That's pretty awesome.
yeah. It's amazing how songs can visually transport you to a place, whether it's created by the artist or like it's something that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask everybody is songs that transport them somewhere, wherever it be. It's warmer or wherever. I mean, it can be wherever it takes you. That'd be
Yeah,
perfect. Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's really important this time of the year too, because I mean it's not cold everywhere, but I mean there's different climates, extreme climates happening all over the country today and as we speak. So I think that's an important question too.
yeah. Especially during times like this, like I would feel. I'm glad you brought that up. I would feel remiss if I didn't like. I'd feel bummed or remiss or like I'm not doing my community a service if I don't talk about the struggles that everybody's going through with the LA fires right now. I personally know 4 or 5 people who lost their homes. And I do think that during a time like this, like music can be a powerful tool to retain your happiness, to bring community together. And, my hearts go out to those people. And um, I do think that when I've had similar tough times, like music has really helped me transport myself to a place where I can feel happiness, even if it's just for a few minutes. And I love the ability of music to do that, like to be able to transport you, even if it's for 2, 3 minutes at a time or for every listen. Like, I think that speaks to not only the power of music, but it's a testament to the artist that created a specific song, like what NF does with his songs, and like, what Wolf Totem does to transport you onto the top of a fucking
Man,
horse.
that that song is just every so I don't I guess I didn't tell you that, but like that's become so that song has become so important to me for weight training. Like, oh man, it just gets me. The last time I did a Yasso workout, I just did that the whole like 30 minutes, that one song. Just like, all right, it's growing on me. Like, yeah, man, what an absolute jam. That whole album's good too. And then I stumbled upon that Metallica cover. I was just like, what? Oh yeah, just a masterpiece. All like that, like all their music. So
That is such a good cover. As we have so many big things coming, but as we get to the end of this show, like I would love to like talk a bit about like some of our ideas, since we love being transparent with the community. We have some great ideas. Obviously, like a lot of these came from Joe and Lori, and thankful to both of them. So love for you to like share some of those ideas before I close this thing out, Joe.
yeah, so a couple different concepts, and obviously, like anybody wants to chime in on music challenges, DM me, hit me up, comment, whatever. I will never turn down an opportunity to chat music or whatever. Like trust me, there's never a bad time to talk about music for me. So I thought it'd be cool to do a couple different things. And thank you, Lori, for this suggestion because I didn't think about how awesome of a topic this is and like how nuanced it is. But one hit wonders, I think, would be great if we did that. You know, if it's a one hit wonder to you, like um, we could dive into that. I think it'd be cool to do film scores again. And one that like Ohm really, yeah, I know you really love film scores, and man,
Yeah,
like going back to me listening Into the Wild, that's a beautiful film score. I think instrumental would be cool. I don't really get into instrumental music, and honestly, I think this would be a cool challenge. It would force me to listen to like dive deep into instrumental music. Not that I don't like it; it's just not something I've ever gotten really into.
that
Um,
excited me so much. I dropped my laptop.
yeah, I think it'd be cool to challenge the listeners to submit covers. It doesn't matter what genre, whatever, just cool covers. And then I thought it'd be really cool to do like a music time zone, music from different generations, like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, 20s. Um, and I think the one we should probably come out of the gate with, I'm sure you'll agree with me, is I really like this idea of music transporting us
Yeah,
wherever it takes you. I think we should start with that if you agree with that. But
I
um,
so agree with that. Let's go with that.
it's a perfect time of the year to do it. So yeah, those are some cool challenges. And like I said, I'm always open, whatever suggestions anybody has. And
Yeah,
yeah, reach out. I'll give you a link to this playlist. It's getting huge, um, and we'll keep building on this thing.
definitely. Well, we're excited to continue what's in your earbuds into 2025. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and review, and catch all of our shows on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, including the very new Melanin MVP. Uh, Before we close this thing out, just want to add that we have our regularly scheduled fireside chat tomorrow. So look out for that tomorrow afternoon. Beyond the Finish Line will be back. I would also encourage everybody to check out Craig Lewis's Last Running Tales with Jamie the Joggler. That was a great
It's
episode. And
so good.
Jamie has gotten me into juggling. I still owe him a video. So definitely go check that out. There's a whole story behind that. You're going to see a juggling video at some point, maybe even joggling. But uh, I'm excited to continue this and bring on some more amazing guests on the show. And we pose the question to you: what is a song that transports you? And we will be asking this again this weekend. So keep an eye out for that question. Answer that question down in the comments below. Answer it on that reel. Answer it. Send us a DM, and keep adding to the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network playlist. If you can't find the link, Joe and I will happily send you the link. But we're excited for your contributions, and let's grow this playlist to 15 hours. So we pose the question to you about what is in your earbuds that transports you to a different place. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for episode 14 in a couple weeks.